Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Daily Market Report brought to you by Mike Bjork. Today is Hump Day. It's March 4th. We got a couple economic news releases scheduled for today, but stay tuned to the very end here. We'll cover a couple of tips on reverse mortgages coming up afterwards. But today on the docket, we got the ADP employment numbers. So on Friday, we'll have the numbers for the from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the job numbers, the employment number, and everything on Friday. So that'll be the big one. But the ADP, this is the private job numbers. January was revised upwards to 250,000 new jobs created for January, but February came in a lot lower than they expected at 212,000. So this is disappointing, obviously, to the markets. We also got the ISM non-manufacturing, or otherwise known as ISM services index. This kind of gives us the index for the, obviously the service industry. So anything above 50 is considered expansion, which we had a 56.7 numbers for the January, which we had some expansion, but obviously not great. And the forecast is supposed to pull back a little bit in the month of February, but it actually went upwards of 56.9. So decent numbers in the ISM non-manufacturer services industry. So it's a slight uptick. Fed base book is due out later this week, later today at about 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This will give us a little bit more insight as to the Fed's thoughts of where things are at, their concerns, and what things we'll be looking at. So investors will be looking at that pretty heavily as to give them any type of clues as to when they may be possibly raising interest rates. Currently, the stock market's down. They didn't like, obviously, the ADP number that came in. Some comments came in by Fed member Evans, and then a few more will be coming out later today. But he kind of mentioned that he doesn't see any reason why the Fed has to rush to raise any interest rates. That they can wait a little bit to make sure that they have confidence that the inflation will go up towards the 2% annual target goal that they would like to see. So that was coming by him. So that might be reassuring the markets a little bit, and they probably may even be pricing that into their pricing currently as if we have these soft numbers, they can't imagine that the Fed's going to raise interest rates to, especially if inflation's still extremely low, that they would, as China did earlier this week on Monday, where they had to raise or cut rates just to try to stimulate inflation because they're having problems with deflation as well. We don't obviously want to have those problems. The bond market, we had a little bit of a sell-off yesterday. It looked like we were down to about 101.09. We're up about 1 basis point from yesterday, so about the same pricing as where we left off yesterday. But if you look at where we were in the morning yesterday, we're down from that level, and you may see some pricing for the worse. So depending on if people had lowered their worse pricing yesterday, or if they did intraday pricing worse or not. So, but right now we're lower than where we left off in the morning. But at the end of the day, we're about the same where we left off yesterday. So depending on the lenders and what they did yesterday, they may just price it into today as worse pricing. All right. So onward in regards to the reverse mortgages. Hey, if you have a client looking to do a reverse mortgage, or perhaps you are a person who is interested in reverse mortgages, last week we talked about the qualifications, but this week a little tip is a general rule of thumb is up to like $625,000 for people who are looking to buy up towards that range. Let's say if you sold your home and you have come up with like $200,000. Nice rule of thumb is that you can factor about just double. You could qualify basically double that. So you could basically qualify for $400,000 property with just putting $200,000 down payment on there, and then so those are kind of like a nice rule of thumb, especially for realtors who want to try to qualify clients. The reason why this can be a little important is because we're finding that the stats are showing that people who are the baby boomers who are selling their homes, instead of downsizing, they're actually a lot of them are upsizing. Almost half of them are upsizing. So this could be a nice little rule of thumb to kind of gauge as to qualification purposes on there. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and thanks so much for watching. Take care.